I'm here with Gerard Johnstone, the director of M3GAN and M3GAN 2.0, and I'm also here with Gerard Johndrone, an AI that I've trained on hours of Gerard Johnstone interviews, so I'm going to be interviewing both of them today. So let's start off with that title. I've always pronounced it as M3GAN, but last year I was watching Chucky. He's flipping through the channels, he lands on your movie, and I hear him say M3GAN. So what's the correct pronunciation?
I'm the wrong person to ask because I can't even pronounce Megan the way Americans say Megan. In New Zealand we would say Megan. So yeah, I'm qualified to give you a good answer on that.
So in your mind, the 3 is not meant to be taken literally.
No, and for the longest time I was like, oh, we'll change that. We'll take this 3 out and we'll come up with. I even thought we'd come up with a different name.
You have to change everything.
Yeah, but it worked its way in, and obviously we came up with the 3 lines, and when we were designing the title, and it's like, oh, actually it looks kind of cool and iconic. So yeah, we're happy with it.
So now we can see what Gerard Johndrone has to say about that.
Oh, that's right.
Technically, it's M3GAN, like the regular name. The 3 is just there to make her look like a sleek piece of nightmare tech, but honestly, if Chucky wants to call her M3GAN, I'm not going to argue. He's basically horror royalty, so he gets a pass.
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
So one of my favorite concepts in horror is this idea that I call cultural legendizing. Mm-hmm. The idea that the monsters in these movies reflect the societal fears of the society that story is coming from. Mm-hmm. And I see that in everything that M3GAN does. When you're making this movie, how do you decide what AI concepts you want to focus on when the technology is evolving so fast, but it also takes 2 to 3 years to make the movie?
Well, I think we were lucky in that there was this huge boom in artificial intelligence around about the time we were making the first movie, but it's kind of plateaued a little bit now. The things that were kind of blowing our minds when we started making this movie are fairly similar to the stuff that we're experiencing now. So it was like just more of a reaction to what was happening like straight after that first movie with ChatGPT and image generators and things like that. Obviously in M3GAN's lair she has like, an incredible AI, image out her window and things like that. So it's like we use some of those things, but it feels like nothing too insane has happened. So I think we were lucky in that regard.
Interesting.
Yeah.
With M3GAN 2.0, we wanted to double down on those same core fears, but updated. For where AI conversations are today, technology is moving faster than ever, so instead of focusing on the gadgets themselves, we explored the cultural panic and the almost uncanny way people interact with AI now. Like how folks talk to ChatGPT like it's alive. It's less about the tech specs and more about the human fears and ethical questions that aren't going anywhere anytime soon.
That sounds like something a more intelligent, concise version of me would say. And
I kind of thought yours was more intelligent.
Oh well, this feels like the kind of prep that I should have done. I should have entered my answers into ChatGPT. Next time.
Yourself.
Next time. Yeah,
Gerard Johnstone versus Gerard Johndrone.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the layer, and that leads into my next question. That portrait of Cady and M3GAN, where do I get one of those? I know exactly where I want to hang it. And who created that? Was it actually AI generated?
No, there was an artist. We used, his name is Andreas, I think is his name. And he actually designed my first movie. You may not have seen it, but I did this movie called Housebound. The poster was like this family portrait that had a ghost in it. It was a haunted house movie. He was the same artist who did that poster, and he did a lot of concepts for us on this movie. He designed Amelia's costume and lots of other things, and he worked with costume designer and the production design department. In fact, they were fighting over him because he's such a cool artist. But we did want to make it kind of feel like it was AI generated, so the likenesses are just a little bit off.
Yeah, I was glad to be able to get a little bit of a better look at it when I came in here because I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I think we should really sell it. If we know what's good for us, we should really do some big portraits of it.
Give me the hookup.
Yeah, and give all the profits to me. I think I'm just going to have a conversation with someone.
What do you think, Gerard Johndrone?
You're not the only one who's asked. That portrait has taken on a life of its own. It was actually created by our production design and art teams, not AI, though the style intentionally walks that weird, uncanny line between glossy family photography and corporate promo material.
Which is very M3GAN. I mean, obviously, should have mentioned Housebound, but, what are you going to do?
Have a lot of people actually asked that question?
No, actually, this is the first time this is...
You were wrong, AI.
Oh, what? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, cool.
It seems like a lot of the marketing and trailers for 2.0 are making it out to be a chick flick, which has sparked some concern in the M3GAN, or I guess I should say the M3GAN fandom, which I sometimes call the M3GANdom. Is there anything that you can say to kind of calm those fears for people?
Yeah, I would say the marketing has leaned really heavily into kind of the campness of more the audience, I guess, some of the hardcore fans in the movie itself. The movie's a little bit more of a straighter action movie. It's not as camp as the trailer is. There's some moments, but it's like we are always conscious to tell a joke with a straight face. It's also important to me as well, the film's like hugely popular with gay men and young girls, but I kind of feel like as long as I'm true to the character, those demographics will come along for the ride and will appreciate that we're not trying to pander.
That's interesting. I did not know that it was becoming big with young girls, because I guess that's not my typical audience.
Yeah.
Do you think that the way that the fan base has kind of picked it up, like the thing that they did at Halloween Horror Nights and all of the fan art and stuff on TikTok kind of contributed to them leaning into that with the marketing?
I think it's a little bit of that. I would hope that young girls aren't on TikTok. But I think it's also that she's kind of like a living doll. It's like, girls, at that age are playing with dolls, and here is this like ultimate doll, really. Like, she can do anything, and she can kind of, she can protect you as well from bullies and annoying neighbors.
All right, let's see what Gerard Johndrone has to say.
I love that you've dubbed it the mayhem. Honestly, that needs to catch on. Look, the marketing's definitely having fun with M3GAN's personality and fashion, which is part of her charm, but the movie itself is still firmly rooted in sci-fi horror. If anything, M3GAN 2.0 goes harder in terms of stakes and tone. There's more action, more dread, and she's facing a serious new threat. So while the promos might lean into the glam and sass, I can assure fans that M3GAN hasn't traded in her titanium skeleton for lip gloss.
Okay, yes, that's just basically the same answer, but slightly better.
Which is kind of interesting because, you made the movie, but the drawback of the AI, it hasn't seen the movie.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and also that, ChatGPT can come up with things in 2 seconds, and as a writer, it takes me forever to formulate, I spend all night coming up with just like one sassy line from M3GAN. It's not something that just comes off the cuff. It's like I agonize over it for days. So
Sure.
I don't know. What are we going to do? This is really depressing.
On that note, in the movie, Gemma her new thing is trying to develop these safer laws around AI. We don't really go into what the specifics of that are, but if you were to be in her shoes and try to come up with those laws today, what do you think that would look like?
It's easy to say we need regulation, but it is the way I feel about it. When you come up with new technology, maybe if there was a little bit of a moratorium, you come up with image generators, maybe thinking about, will this put graphic artists out of work? You come up with ChatGPT, will this put copywriters out of work? It feels like maybe it would be within a government's control to think about that and how it's used. Like maybe it's fine for personal use, but just not, professional use. I see a lot of ads that are clearly generated by AI and a lot of news reports that kind of feel like they're voiced by an AI, and I don't like it. You really do miss that human connection, and it just feels like we're living in some dystopian society when you're coming across things like that.
Great question. If I were in Gemma's shoes today, I think those laws would focus less on banning AI outright and more on accountability and transparency. We need legislation that forces companies to disclose when AI is being used.
Good, yes.
Mandates ethical oversight during development, and places legal responsibility on creators if their AI causes harm.
Yes, exactly. Social media.
Basically, the goal would be to stop people from hiding behind it's just a tool excuse when that tool starts making real-world decisions with real-world consequences.
Yes, completely agree. Yeah, it looks like we've solved the alignment problem here with, us and AI. I can't argue with anything that Gerard Johndrone is saying. Yeah.
All right, well, Gerard Johnstone and Gerard Johndrone, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. That was
great.